topic we'll talk about me is about historical events at the time of the destruction of the Presbyterian mission on West Ambrym. Okay. Now may on slide maybe stop the English no more, maybe try hard to explain an idea with me, Bislama, so we hope say all right. You may focus time in the 19th century, in the 1800s, more first 2 decade 20th century, 1890s, turn of century, first decade, second decade, 2000 and 1913, and we start the second decade of 20th century. So I'm not time yet. We look at time where big fella event even happened in Ambrym. So what else happened? What else may happen in the world? Yeah, we may affect them. Latanya, or maybe no future, it may not affect them. It looks like 1892, Robert Lamb, he started work for him, on mission, on Bitcoin. First hospital buildings, only finish them, 1896. And I touch on more, I mean, we just go through quick time, the top area, you know, that, yes. He got more detail by now, right? Missionary Lamb, he started translation work with him. He out, he sick, he go back, he long time, he pass away in New Zealand. And Dr. John Boy, he replaced him Lamb, 1897. Work for mission, he go ahead, got full of something even happened a lot of time, yeah. You look low. Number 7 December 1913, volcanic eruption come, mission blood midpoint, and we destroy. Yeah? So that's the time area where we focus. Hemi happen low Ambrym, hemi happen low Vanuatu. They another fellow something they go ahead to. Yeah. One something where hemi, I think old man what time now, you know, really aware of him. They one big fella event where he happened. Hemi on World War I. Well, next year, 1914, World War I, he break out. Yeah. And him, just break out just him one day and he happened. Or something where him lead, he go ahead, he build up a World War I, he break out, him he stop go ahead for 2 or 3 decades before, right? So time, yeah, or something him he could go ahead, and eventually he got war. And him affect in Vanuatu. From before World War I, he got full of competition between all different countries, Europe, Britain, France, Germany, Russia, also Long Pacific, Japan, and he stopped spread of influence for him. And from he got all big man law Europe, all his say war by come, him me pushing Great Britain, mo France. Two fella only agree, plus sit down, plus deal with them all problem where we stop between two other countries. From two fella only big fella rival go Kasamama century before. But it looks like Latanya, you must find them one solution. One something in one area where only got problem all about the world, I mean colonial differences. And Vanuatu, New Hebrides, I mean one big fella problem go to other country. From we got all planter, missionary, fella group only stop in one place. He got the competition, but who I should take over or no. Anyway, only decide, sit down, find them solution. 1906, only sign them convention law, only establish them the condominium, the Anglo-French condominium of the New Hebrides. So 1906, 7 years before the eruption, condominium he stand up. And 1914, only make them change from a convention, only got one protocol. And him final procedure will run him condominium New Hebrides. So you look straight Latanya, condominium, where he finished now, they hemi stand up. So anyone did tell us something, for sure. Or man Ambrym, only no ben sabi, one and now it happened, but hemi happened. Okay. And of course, World War I, he may affect them Pacific. France more Great Britain only joined New Hebrides. But Latanya, Germany, he one colonial power of Pacific. He lose them colony for him. Samoa, he out. New Zealand, he take over. New Guinea, one part lo island lo New Guinea where Germany holding him, he lose equal Australia. Nauru equal Australia. And all Micronesian islands equal Japan. So you look, oh, big fella something may happen long time here, long Pacific. You know, all man lo play that. For sure, we don't pensar it, but long future we got big fella influence. Now, another fellow is something where Hemi really stop the news today, and we start plenty man only talk about. And then we want something where Hemi really got one big fella influence on islands from Melanesia. Along with the missionaries, we got one other fella development way. Today you may not think about too much, you know, you from Hemi has finished and all man will involve him, or you know stuff. But time you study, time you look at history, time you read about document, time you read about all missionaries, what all missionaries all they write about. Lotanya in the 19th century, has some first decade, 20th century, he got full up man Melanesia, Vanuatu, Solomon, with them some lo Papua New Guinea, only recruit, only go overseas for work. You may stop now today, same, you know, we got the same something will happen. Okay, and even happened 1 century ago. Okay, and him be very controversial. From Lotamia, him you know organized good, or you know control him good, and yeah, he got big fella discussion, big fella controversy about one him being happened Lotamia, but just Lotamia, he got a different place where all man only recruit to go. Queensland and Australia. Go start the 1860s, Kassam 1908, over 40, almost 40 years. All man, long Pacific, especially Vanuatu and Solomon Islands, or they go long Queensland, long Pacific, long Australia. Lotania, Queensland, I mean just one separate colony in Australia. Another destination, I mean Fiji, plenty of Fiji, especially Solomon and Vanuatu, they go long Fiji. Kassam 1911, you look how they recruit custom into the 20th century. Samoa, especially from Germany, so all recruits only come out German Solomon Islands, Samoa, and plenty all in Nobel Service, full up in Bengal, New Caledonia, over 12,000 Vanuatu only recruit Lotania, he go work on New Caledonia. So him one big fella something, Lord. Only estimates say, look, for that 40, 50 years, over 60,000 man or woman only come out of Melanesia or they go work all place. Yeah, that one we fellow. And anyone, he got one big fella impact. You take up Lotania population, you start put down. They full up. You think about how much man you take them out low village, take them out low community, and he got effect. Well, another fella something. Time only come back, only bring them or fill up something to go inside local community, only bring them knowledge, experience, or say. Now the problem is heavy controversial from process flow recruiting. Recruiting, anyone in your same one. You go back to 1860s, you don't got any money want to work overseas. Australia, particularly Australia, but Fiji too, Lotania, only need them labor. So they look say, hey, they got full of man, Pacific, Melanesia, you can go find them. But time old boat or recruit only come only know you know sabe, you got one internet will come say, hey, come work one good fellow plantation in Australia. Only know sabe. And him making him really one rubbish time the labor trade. From only some recruit, only steal a man, only kidnap a man, only get man or man. And so today, especially, you had them full of talk about this time. I mean, true. From, you got one ship, he comes, stop low passage. One man, he come some man, or he come low boat, he go low shore. Or they know how to tell him, explain, say, come work with him, he fell low one plantation, no Queensland. Now, you know got anything think about it. So they've been tricking plenty man. Or they say, come low boat, we're going to give him something on you. Time only come low boat, only go down, only lock and sail away. Okay? So hemi one really bad time, low labor trade, no period, low recruitment. He dangerous, he violent. Sometimes only stop stealing man. He create them violence law island. He got plenty man only dead or they shoot them dead. All islander with them all white man too only dead no time. Yeah, one violent period. And plenty of report will come out one time, yeah, especially on missionary. From a missionary, it's not only right say, hey, you look, only steal a man, only enslave a man. So reputation blow, labor recruiting long time, yeah, you look good too. Or ship too, it dangerous, unhealthy. Only no look out them food, plenty money dead no ship, sick, and life on plantations, life he no good, he hard, he no got good control. You know, saying today where you or RSE go down on New Zealand, only got one good fellow who died here, or Australia. They lot time, yeah, no. So reputation blow labor trade, any really negative lot time. What happened eventually? Something he stopped, cool down a little bit, the reason. He changed a little bit, slow. By the 1870s, 1860s, and 1870s, he stopped negotiate or procedure. He changed, and he changed from one because of something. Or recruit, or they stop come back. Or they stop come back. Or they come back, plenty with them all trade goods. Or they come back with them full of story about life, low Bundaberg or Mackay or Townsville or what? Man only have him say, hey, only no disappear. Only no go forever. Only stop come back. So slow recruiting process for labor go overseas. It may stop come more easy. From man only look say, only understand. Say, hey, me no one, we fella no just disappear, only no steal of me. Hey, me one job. And by the 1870s, 80s, 90s, full up man only recruit, only agreeable recruit. There were always problems. Throughout the time he got violence, throughout the time only got money dead. From him, only no control of good. But the process flow, or man only recruit, or work for plantation overseas, and it change. You don't necessarily go steal a man. And what happened? He got one system, one recruiter they come, or they stop, or man only come down low shore. And he got one system low exchange. You give him something low family, you give him something low man, and man him become low ship. So give me one regular system low to make them recruits. They got problem too, because slowly, or he got old man only one and go, yeah. They may make a problem inside no village. From you look too much money out, or man no village, or they say, hey, young fella, they go. Full of young fella, they want them go. Let's look Queensland. They want them look walk out. And plenty family law island, only no like them too much time, or young fella, they go. From plenty time, family will tell them no, they're young fella, they slip around. Or night time, only go to shoot. Another fella too, another something too. Or woman, yeah. Or plenty or woman now. Only one them go, yeah. From maybe he got one special friend where plenty only married with them, maybe one older man, or they like him one young fella. He got plenty story where all women only make them one pact, or they make them one agreement with them one friend, or they sleep out one night, or they jump on ship and they go to Queensland. So Henry make them plenty money, no like it. Make them problem no village, problem no family. But the main thing is, this shows us that, after a while, only no must steal a man. Only want him go. Even though him hard work, even though plenty, no come back, but only want him go. Just quickly, only been try hard blow regulate them. They never really regulate them good. You got Queensland, he passed some one legislation law, 1868, Queensland Labor Act, law tribal controlling. He got no work good. Only tried to put them one agent. He got all recruiting ship. Only look say only really recruit fair. Only steal a man. What? In 1872, Britain too him he tried to control him, and back again in 1875. He never really control him good. They only put them agent. He got a ship. Blow safeguard. Blow make sure all man only know only go fair. He always, whole time he got problems. He never clean. He never completely good. But him, he much more complicated than simply all man only kidnap a man only enslave a man. You know also. Next one. Also Mitalam. This after 1875, it changed. All man only look say, if suppose you go recruit, you cast them all trade good, especially only like them on gun. All rifle. Only go work a lot of Queensland, work a lot of Fiji, time only come back, only use the money while they winning, go pay them all trade goods. Hey, me one good big fella something lo tanya. Also Mitalan, me also one adventure, full up young fella, only want them go walk about. And in some cases, me slow, him one rite of passage. You one young fella, you recruit, you go. Same today, young fella, you must come to me, walk about, go back. Okay? And we same something. And interesting too, because show him say how now only direct them recruiting process. He not just one-sided, he not just all recruiter, only control him every something. Slow now. All man or woman only influence them recruiting process. Only choose them ship, yeah. Only savvy say ship, yeah, anyone good one, or anyone bad one. Another one only choose them place flow recruit. Favorite place Australia. Only not like them Fiji, only not like them New Caledonia. Hard work, only don't treat them good. But Australia, work, it costs some more money. Molly Haram say, any more interesting will go. So if anyone, if recruiting ship if he come, depend on ship. Who? Master plus ship. If we go where? Or laborers, or they choose, or they decide, say, yes, we go with him or no. And one other fellow something, Boshom say, how now, or man or woman, we only recruit, only stop controlling system, yeah? But if I are not plenty, only come back and only recruit back again. Only recruit, but go back again. So suppose him he one enslavement, or suppose him he one really way something he no good through. From one him only go back. So plenty only recruit 2 or 3 times. Eh? And one interesting thing is time only come back, but it change. Plenty go young fella. We go stop 3 years, come back, go back, come back. Only carry more new fella skill or new fella idea where he land them overseas. And one something in particular, plenty only work with them on mission overseas. And only carry new fella think or side for Christianity, come back, lo Vanuatu. You got 2 fella laborers, only come back lo Ambai, only carry church. Time only come back, only ask a missionary lo Australia, only come establish a Church of Christ from Ambai. Or laborers only make it. For laborers. And we just find them by chance, we read him, yeah. This was a report from Presbyterian Report about Ambrym. In its heathen state, Ambrym has derived some benefits from the labor traffic. The Christian laborers of Miss Young and others of Bundaberg have taken root in the hearts of their scholars. As a result, some of the Ambrym young men, on returning hither, have been trying unaided to build churches and evangelize their own countrymen. Though unable to accomplish much, the effort has been very real. So you know, some recruiters, some laborers will only been go, only convert to Australia, only come back, only try hard to build them up Christian mission this time program, and they happen all about, I'll say. And just to conclude, let's talk about the end of the labor trade. You look all day when we give them you. Well, in the big event in Australia, or pass some legislation, only deport them, only want them deport them every Melanesian labor where they stop Australia. And we want change and only talk about white Australia policy. You got all politics, no time now, only time say no, we got one white society, must get rid of all these people of Manaway that come. And only pass a law, and in 1905, only deporting all labor where they stop. Plenty only hide. Plenty only no come. Plenty go. But some me hide. Some me don't want them go. And again, you look say you show say, well, plenty of laborers have one opportunity where they don't want them give them up. So today, you look, you got a big community, those South Pacific Islanders along Australia. Plenty only come outlaw community where only no return, no time. Okay, the first decade war. 20th century. So, lot time now where you may talk about the volcanic eruption, where or something law Ambrym. For sure, inside the community, it got full up. All laborers when they've been come back, when they've been work law Australia, or they've been work law Fiji, or they've been come back, or they join the community back again. So Hemi wants something, as we tell them, say, Hemi disappeared a little bit from, think about one influence flow, get that. But he got influence. Or they carry something or knowledge or experience, or they come back to a community, or they share them all out. So when something to think about, besides you got some old fella boo way on the story him he passed down and he come through the year. But him he one big fella something where happened what time ya blow volcanic eruption ya. He influence some life of Vanuatu, Solomon Islands in particular to fella country. And more, just when I'm saying, tell about one something where you start thinking about, where maybe one another fella factor, one another fella influence, where it happened one time.